We talking about sports, get ball.
What it do, baby? Yeah.
What it do, you number one podcast listeners? You have tuned into a brand new episode of Prem Brulee, the number one podcast in your headphones. I'm your host, Premal Bhatt, and I told you I'd be getting more consistent, and I had to finally become a man of my word here. So here we are, you number one podcast listeners. You deserve it. I'm finally delivering here. For this episode, I'm joined by my big cousin, Roshan Bhatt.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining me again, bro.
Of course, always.
Yes, sir. We got a lot to cover today, but we know the drill. Before we do that, let's cover our sponsor for the episode, and this one's a special one for you too. So,
yes, sir.
This episode is sponsored by Mark Drew. Be sure to check out his new EP, Undrafted. It's available on all streaming platforms. He's a rapper, producer, artist, and overall good dude. You can find him on Instagram at MarkDrewHTX. That's MarkDrewHTX. Give him a follow, and most importantly, go support the Fire Project. Mark Drew, what it do?
Yeah, man, I've known Mark forever, so it's cool to see him reach out to you and have him support this podcast. Yeah. We're supporting him. I've known him for a long time. He's one of my brother's longest friends. They live together and all that shit. So it's cool to see him doing his thing. And yeah, definitely go check that EP.
Yeah. It's Big Bot brand certified.
You already know.
Yeah. Only the finest for the number one podcast in your headphones. So, and stay tuned for a snippet of one of my favorite songs from the project to close out the episode. We got the all clear from Mark Drew himself, so wanted to give you number one podcast listeners a taste, and hopefully you'll go support him. We'll link that in the description too, so happy to support. Anyway, let's get to the content for you number one podcast listeners. Without further ado, you know the drill. First up is Yeah Fam or Nah, and I'm going to read you some headlines and want to get your take. Yeah, we gotta talk about who. The artist soon to be formally known as King Snake. We still don't have a nickname for the guy. Vish posed the question to us. We haven't decided on one. We haven't landed on one. I'm sure maybe it'll take his next antic for us to figure it out, but we'll land on one. But anyway, KD trade update. Still no deal imminent. The latest news is that the Celtics have entered the chat. The trades are centered around Jaylen Brown. The Nets reportedly want Brown, Derek White, Marcus Smart, picks, and a rotational player. The Nets obviously want a big return for Kevin Durant, and other teams aren't necessarily willing to give it up, hence why he hasn't been dealed. And as we talked about last episode, he's still got 4 years left on his deal, so no requirement to deal him. Okay, yeah, fam or nah, the Nets are asking too much.
I will go with a word association, but it kind of reminded me of one of our favorite shows, Marlo Stanfield on The Wire, price of the brick going up.
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
I thought that was very appropriate for this. Not that KD is as elite as the brick mentioned in The Wire, but, I think, yeah, fam, big time. They're asking way too much for KD. I know he's great, but, is no one, did we just forget his age and his durability over the last few seasons? He's played 85 games or something in 2 seasons, and Boston got to the finals with the squad they have now, and with the moves they made in the offseason arguably make them significantly better. Brogdon and Gallinari, they shored up 2 huge holes that probably would have helped them win this year if they had those guys.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, I don't put any of all of that. That's a lot. Maybe Brown, Smart, 1 pick, that should get it done. I can't really blame the Nets though for trying to recoup everything they've lost in all these trades. But that's negotiation 101. Set the bar high, and if you get somewhere in the ballpark, you'll probably get rid of him.
Yeah. That last point is exactly why I'm a nod of this one. KD, for as much as I hate him, is a generational talent. We'd be stupid not to recognize that. Part of the reason I hate him is because he is so good and he does that slimy shit, basically. So, join teams that beat him because he doesn't need to do it. and that's what drives me nuts about him. And I think it's like it's a fine line. Like, he likes being the bad guy, but I think he likes it too much, and he's like trying too hard to make it seem like he likes being the bad guy, if that makes sense. All that being said, I don't think the Nets are asking too much because they don't have to just pull the trigger on a deal. Kevin Durant has to show up. He's 4 years left on his contract. He really has no leverage. If he doesn't show up, he's given up all that money and so much of a career left. It's not the same as some of those other scenarios. So I think they should ask him.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nets, you have to think about their history too. The Nets, we're talking about the same two teams. They gave up a whole lot of assets to acquire an aging Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett at the time, and gave it all to the Boston Celtics. So I don't think they're going to be part of a deal that results in kind of the same type of thing, like letting go of an asset with not a comparable return. So I don't think they're asking too much. I think, like you said, you might as well set the bar high, and then if you get somewhere close and it's something that they're willing to deal with, then hey, then that strategy worked.
Yeah.
So I'm a nod of this one, but who knows? Who knows what'll happen? I'm not sure. I'm starting, as days go by and the deals are not even anywhere close. Like, the teams are so far apart that are offering the Nets and what the Nets are asking for that I'm starting to think it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I do like him on the Celtics, though. That does make both teams pretty nice.
It'd be it would be kind of crazy to see Tatum and Durant. I mean, they can both play with anyone, but a lot of like similarities in some of their games. So I'd be interested.
Yeah, you basically have like the second coming of Durant on the team, and they're just gonna destroy you from mid range. If Tatum gets his shit together.
Yeah, I mean, he had his shit together until the finals, but
yeah.
What are you gonna do? All right, let's move over to the NFL. The big news of the week, other than training camp starting for every team, which means the football season is coming real quick. But Kyler Murray, Mr. Delete Every Post about the Arizona Cardinals, his strategy worked because he just signed a 5-year, $230 million deal, $230,500,000, just a little bit extra, so that he could get $500K more than Deshaun Watson. He signed a massive extension with the Cardinals. I think it's 5 additional years, so he's locked into that franchise for, I think it's like the next 7 years. It includes a $29 million plus signing bonus, $160 million guaranteed, and an average annual salary of $46.1 million. That $46.1 million average annual value is second only to Aaron Rodgers. So I do have a phrase here. My phrase is Dak hip thrust. Each passing deal, I feel better about Dak's contract. I mean, we're just out here handing out big checks for doing nothing. Kyler Murray has done nothing for the Cardinals worth noting. They're handing out huge ass checks. Some of the top paid players are, the accolades don't measure up to what they're getting paid, but hey, I guess you get paid whatever a team's going to offer you. So kudos to them. All I'll say about this is that the Ravens better beat this deal significantly for Lamar Jackson, because that's someone who's actually has some hardware and is responsible for a majority of their offense. Worth noting, though, regarding Lamar Jackson, because his deal's got to be next, he does not have an agent, so he's negotiating it on his own behalf. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully he does get whatever money he's owed, because he actually has accolades to go with a dollar amount, unlike Kyler Murray does. So, I'm a fam to these money amounts, mostly because it makes that Dak Prescott deal look much, much better for me. What about you? What you got?
I also have a word association, and it's baseball with a question mark, because no shot Kyler would have ever got this much money playing baseball.
No way.
I just, knowing his skill set, I honestly don't see him as any sort of elite caliber athlete in baseball, not to mention how those contracts work. And you really have to like prove yourself to get a $230 million deal, much or less $230 million over 5 years. Like that's nuts. Like there ain't no way he's getting that money. And, you know, like you said, like these guys are just getting paid. These quarterbacks are just getting money from these teams. And that Dak contract is looking pretty nice because they both arguably have the same level of accolades. Yeah. And Dak seems like you guys are getting a steal at this point. Because if you had to pay Dak this much money, I know you'd be pissed. Oh, yeah. I know you'd be punching air for sure. Yeah. And like you said, like Lamar has an MVP award. He has playoff wins. Kyler hasn't won in the playoffs. Like he just got to the playoffs this year, right? Like that was his first appearance, and he got rocked. He got rocked. So it kind of makes that fan base a little feverish because, you know, every year he doesn't win a game, it puts this pressure on him. So I mean. It works both ways. Like because of that pressure, he's arguably gonna step up to the challenge and play better. So let's hope. I mean, he's an exciting player. He does cool shit on the field, and it's pretty fun to watch that offense when it's clicking.
AKA when he throws it up to Nuke Hopkins, but
when he throws it like 10 feet within him, yeah.
Oh, worth noting, by the way, it recently broke that one of the clauses in Kyler's contract, speaking of what they think of him, it involves the amount of film he has to watch. He has like a 4 hours of independent study clause in his contract where any material they give, he has to, in good faith, watch film, which I don't know what that's implying, like that he doesn't watch it, but kind of a weird move to give $230 million to someone you have to add a clause in to get them to watch film as a quarterback. So
that's a hilarious clause.
Yeah, not a great look. I mean, I'd happily do it. It's 4 hours worth of whatever film they give him. I'm guessing it has to do with the opponent for that week, but the implication's kind of wild. And I know eventually it's probably going to make its way. They're going to have to answer questions about it, but very odd. I mean, absolutely. I don't know what clauses people have in their contract. That's probably an important designation, but the last thing you want is something in your contract that says you must watch film, because we're over here thinking, what the hell were you doing? Why would you need that in writing?
Yeah, I know. Why would you put that in writing? Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, do your job.
Growing up, you had to eat your vegetables before you got dessert. So maybe this is one of those things. It's like you can only have this much money if you do your damn homework. Like read some defenses a little better, my guy.
Wow.
Oh no, that's hilarious. I didn't even know that happened. That's funny.
Yeah. I'm gonna need further explanation on that one, but for now, we don't have any problem running with the thought that he doesn't watch film, so that's what we do here. Breaking news: Kyler Murray doesn't watch film. So you heard it here first. Shame on
you, Kyler.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Wow, they still gave you $230.5 million. All right, last but not least, in our Yeah Fam or Not, we're covering all the sports in this episode. Not all of them, but 3 different ones for once. Yeah Fam or Not, Juan Soto gets traded at the deadline coming up very shortly. So before I get your take on this, a little bit of background. This is per Dane Perry of CBS Sports. The Cardinals are one of the teams reported to have interest in Soto, along with the Padres, Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, Mariners, and others. I'm assuming others means every other team because breaking news, you do want Juan Soto on your team.
So, congratulations. You played yourself.
St. Louis may have the most alluring package of players to offer. That's according to CBS Sports, though. And then the other thing I have noted here is this is from Ken Rosenthal. The Nationals, according to Major League sources, are telling teams they want 4 to 5 top young players for Soto, a combination of prospects and major leaguers with low service time. To meet that price, one club official said, you would have to rip up your farm system, end quote. So, all that. Yefim or not, Juan Soto gets traded. What are your thoughts?
I think absolutely he gets traded. That it doesn't matter like what they want. There's always going to be a team willing to give that to him. And the Nationals don't give a fuck who does it. This makes it a lot more unlikely that a true contender gets it because, like contenders, I mean, I think the only real contender that has the farm system that could probably match that trade is the Yankees. And that is a great trade for them because all indicators point to Judge walking. And if they trade for Soto, there's no way he's staying. There's just no way. That's too much money to share, and he's just not going to do it. So also, I'm honestly pro the Yankees getting him. Like that's great because that destroys their farm, and Judge walks. And I mean, it's just basically a 1-in, 1-out, and he has a couple of controllable years. But other than that, like the teams that are going to be willing to trade that, yes, you want Juan Soto. He's like 23 years old.
Yep.
Like you're going to have him, and more than likely, if you trade for him, you're going to be like, I'm only doing this if he signs 10 plus years. So
yep.
And you're going to give him the bank that he wants. So, I mean, yeah, I would do it in a second. Fuck the farm.
and the bank that he turned down with the Nationals. So, worth noting.
Which wasn't, I mean, yes, it's stupid to say it's not a lot of money or say it's not a good contract. But, I mean, 14 years, like, his average per year is less than, like, some of these, like, mid players. Like, fucking Bryce Harper's going to make more than him. Like, all these players, like, way past their primes. I mean, Bryce is still good, but come on, like, I wouldn't take that deal either. And I wouldn't want to be on the Nationals. He's a moneymaker. He's going to be on a big team if it's up to him. So you should trade who's going to give it to you. I mean, if the Astros could get him, which they don't have the chance, they don't have the farm, I would not care about that farm. There's no way. Right,
because we're over here, like, we're fans of the MLB team. We're not over here worried about the minor league team. So
I'm not going to the AAA games. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I think this is an easy one. I think fam, he gets traded. They have such a hot commodity that they're gonna get a pretty major return no matter what. I mean, yeah, they want a few of each thing. If they get one less of a prospect and one less of a rotational player, the Nationals are still going to take that because they know this guy's not staying. So you might as well get something for him.
Yes.
So I think, fam, he's definitely gone. I unfortunately think it's going to be someone like the Yankees because their history says they're willing to give up the farm for a hot commodity player. And then they'll go all in for this year with that huge lineup, Judge, Stanton, and Soto. But I think you're exactly right. It makes it just going to be a half season and done because Judge will go elsewhere after this year. I mean, he's already hinting that. So
yeah, he turned down another deal before.
Yeah. I think the Yankees have a lot of needs.
And they definitely need a contingency because that fan base. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I dig your fuck the farm. I'm with it. Who are we rooting for?
Win now, forever, man.
Amen.
Yeah, win now.
Yeah, nothing's guaranteed. Anyway.
I mean, I can tell you, like 6 years ago, I was rooting for 110 loss team a year. This shit does not last a long time. So
no way.
You gotta take advantage of it.
Literally does not last long in any sport. I mean, the Tom Brady's an exception.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I mean, think about it. A few years ago, the Eagles won a Super Bowl. It just doesn't happen like that. You don't always get that. The Lakers just won a title in the bubble, and they didn't make the playoffs with LeBron James on their team. So nothing's guaranteed. Like, make the deal. Go for it. What the fuck does it matter? Because I'm thinking about this like, I would love for the Cowboys to do that. I don't think I'll ever see a title in my lifetime at this rate. It's like, you tell me I'd have to watch losing season for the rest of my life, and if I get one title that I get to fully experience, I'm taking that every time as a fan.
Yep.
No doubt about it. All right. Let's go to the main event. You know what you came here for. You played yourself. Let's hit that intro, baby.
I'm petty as hell.
And
I'm super petty.
here we
Petty Le Pew.
All right. It is time for You Played Yourself, Roche. So first up, we have the Los Angeles Angels. You played yourself, Angels. 2 generational talents, allegedly. You can tell me about wins above replacement, but these 2 generational talents aren't producing any results. And people hate when I say that. It's the ultimate, like, ignoring stats take of a baseball fan, but I don't give a shit because they got 2 generational talents and they still miss the playoffs perennially. They've lost 14 out of their last 15 games when Shohei Ohtani is not their starting pitcher, and they are 13-32 since June 1st. That is the worst in Major League Baseball. So you played yourself, Angels. You got something to add about this? I know you feel this too.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hide it, man. I love to see it. Like they're in the Astros division. This is great. You know, most pundits and analysts pick either the Angels or the Mariners to win the division. You know, as if they forgot who their daddy was. Need I remind you who the daddy was?
Amen.
You know, it's just I just can't understand how you have a guy who can come in, win a Cy Young and an MVP in a year if you split his seasons up. Like, there's nothing that tells me he shouldn't be the MVP every year just until he retires. Yeah. Because if he continues pitching like this, he's putting up relatively Cy Young numbers and batting like insane numbers. Like I just it's frustrating to watch him because I've seen games where the Astros have played him and he's single-handedly been the only reason they've won. Yeah. And like it's hard to watch as a fan of baseball. And you know, like it's funny to watch like the coverage of SportsCenter and Twitter and stuff. Like they just try to highlight these things, and it's so hard to see them get their ass whooped when they're just doing these crazy things. There's like that crazy tweet that comes up every time. I'm gonna find it real quick just so I can read it because it's so good, and it sums up this team in like such a funny way. It's like it was a guy named @MattTomic. And it says, every time I see an Angels highlight, it's like, quote, Mike Trout hit 3 home runs and raised his average to 528, while Shohei Ohtani did something that hasn't been done since Tungsten Arm O'Doyle of the 1921 Akron Groomsmen, as the Tigers defeated the Angels 8-3. It's so good. Like, I'm like, that cannot sum up the Angels more. Like, these guys are doing, like, insane things. And they, I remember the Astros played the Angels for a series, and I watched one of the highlights on SportsCenter because I missed the game. They showed a Shohei home run, which was in the top of the first. Yeah. And then they lost 8-1.
I remember that.
But that was the only highlight they showed. They showed 0 highlights from the Astros. They showed Shohei's home run and then the final score, and it's like, oh shit, they lost this game by 7 runs.
Ohtani goes yard in the first. Final score 8-1 Astros.
and they were held to a 1-hitter. It's fucking pathetic, man. It's so bad. Like, you should not be allowed. They should trade him as soon as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, let him win.
Like, this guy deserves to be freed, man. Yeah.
SNH, man.
We should start the free Ohtani.
Free Ohtani.
SNH. No, free Ohtani, man. He doesn't need help. They're in the division. Like, send him off.
Yeah, that's true.
He's going to be a Dodger anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it'd be annoying. He wouldn't even have to move, and they whatever. Yeah. Anyway, you played yourself, Angels, forever, and I would not come off that hill. I'm sure we'll talk about Mike Trout here come October because he will be a fan in the stands of Eagles games. So look for that, like he is every year. Anyway, next up, you and we had to do this one. I mean, this has Petty Alert written all over it. You played yourself to Seattle Mariners fans on Twitter. I got to read these tweets first, and then I'm going to do the Astros account response after they just swept the Mariners. Okay, first up, we have @AlexSSN.
Who?
His tweet said, listen, T-Mobile Park is sold out this weekend. We're playing the Astros. This stadium, that staff, they're not used to a full house. They can't kick us all out. All I'm saying is make the Astros miserable. Be ruthless. Push the limit. No one's going to stop you. Let them know. After the Astros, not even after they swept them, this was before, when they secured the series win. At Astros, listen, that's a series win. Sound it, baby.
Petty alert.
Beautiful.
Petty alert.
Beautiful work. Whoever runs their account, give them a raise. Next up, we have at Chris DeGusto. That's what I'm going to go with. He tweeted the following in response to Alex SSN. Dog, I was thinking about this last night. I've already taken time out of my life for the past year to push the limits when the Astros visit. This weekend is going to be my World Series. I want T-Mobile Park to have a reputation, dog. First,
it's a no for me, dog. I know.
he must have forgot he already used it once, and we'll give him a pass maybe. This being his World Series kind of writes itself, so that's too low-hanging fruit. But anyway, after the Astros swept the Mariners, or after they secured the win, they then tweeted the following: "We haven't lost a road trip this season, dog." Sound it again, baby.
Petty alert. Petty alert.
Bang bang, bitches. And you know what I want to hear after that.
Hoes mad. Hoes mad.
Yeah, I was mad, baby.
That admin was on fire this weekend, man. I just could not get enough of it.
Absolutely, price went up. Price went up on that admin.
I do have a stat though about this series.
Yeah.
Did you know no team has ever come back to win a World Series after losing the series 0-3?
Yes.
Yeah. This was their World Series, and they never held the lead for 1 minute. They did not hold the lead for 1 minute.
Also, the crazy thing is they had a win streak like heading into All-Star break, and the first game back it ended the Astros. Then they lost all 3 games in the series.
Yep. Gotta love it.
All right. You got any? You played yourself for me?
Actually, yeah, man. Let's just keep this in the AL West right now because
right. That's
our first two candidates of You Played Yourself have been AL West, division rivals. Two teams that they said they were going to win the division.
Yeah.
I think I want to give a You Played Yourself to anyone who has disregarded the Astros as a whole, including MLB analysts, talking heads, people on ESPN, whoever. After a 2-game sweep of the Yankees, who everyone has said constantly for this entire season, they're a historic team, they're blah, 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 they're the best team in baseball. Mind you, the Astros have gone 5-2 against them this year in 7 games.
And the 2 were easily
2 were
winnable.
Aaron Judge walk-offs with blown saves. I mean, and it's not like the Yankees suck, so you can blow saves to the Yankees and no one's going to bat an eye. They've been doing this shit all year. And, after that 2-game sweep, there were no mentions from any of these analysts. And don't worry, my petty ass checked. I made sure to go, and I'm like, hey, did anyone say anything about the Astros? I'm curious. No, it's fucking crickets out there, man. Jeff Passan had put out an article prior to this series, I guess during the All-Star break, and he was basically ranking the contenders in tiers. And so he put Yankees on tier 1, and they were the only team in that tier. They're in a tier of their own because of how historic this team is, because of how they're winning their games. And as it turns out, the Astros dominated them 5 out of the 7 games. And honestly, the Yankees didn't hold a lead. They didn't go to bat with the lead in any of those 7 games. How come no one's talking about that? And I'm not one to whine about power rankings much, except when I do whine about the power rankings, which is right now. So after this 5-0 week, of the hottest team in baseball, 14-game win streak, and then the best team in baseball, the Yankees, I've seen people drop the Astros in power rankings because, I don't know, could they not let go of the Yankees at the top? I know the Dodgers have been extremely good. Yeah. But how are the Yankees not below any of those teams? I don't know. Inject this all into my veins, though, because this is just fueling me up for the most petty postseason.
I can't
I'm just gearing up right now, and I can feel it. I know the World Series has not treated the Astros well, So as long as an NL East team doesn't get there,
Yeah.
I like our chances this year, and I think really the only team truly staying in our way is the Yankees this year. Even if we beat the Yankees and lose in the World Series, or even if we eliminate the Yankees some other way, I will be more than happy.
I agree. Oh my God, that's gonna be entertaining podcast episode there. You're definitely gonna want to tune in.
Yeah, I can't wait for that ALCS, man.
Oh man, I think this newfound technology we have, we got to get little mini trash cans or something. If this happens, it's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
Amen. Oh,
and another little one more little tidbit. After these two games that they lost, a lot of their beat writers and stuff were like clamoring for the Yankees to go and get Juan Soto. Like,
yep.
As if they are not in a historic year. They don't have the best player in the game, all this stuff.
Yeah.
They have the MVP frontrunner. You need to add a generational talent. Yeah. I'm like, come on, man. I can't relate. We have like the AAA Astros right now kicking your ass.
Love to see it. Love to see it. I will say their fans, I think they're like obviously exhausted from they haven't won in so long that they're very critical of this so-called historic team.
Yeah.
I know a lot of Yankees fans that are really focused on what improvements they need to make at the deadline. So, and I think Juan Soto is a luxury, but they have more pressing matters, clearly.
Yeah.
And it starts on the defensive end and the pitching staff. It doesn't have anything to do with their offense. So,
for sure.
Anyway, who knows? We'll see what happens. I can't wait for the playoffs. Hopefully we get to talk our shit, because us getting to talk our shit makes it more entertaining for you number one podcast listeners. You already know.
Yeah, and that'll be a future podcast title too, the Petty Postseason.
Amen. That's a good one. And
yeah, you
put it this
remember
way.
that.
You guys love seeing my team lose on Sundays in football, but on the flip side, it makes it more entertaining when our baseball team wins. So
yeah, I'll take it.
I'm sure you'll get both. Okay, I'm going to go over to college football really quick, just because, Zeke tweeted this thing, and I thought it was kind of funny, and I think a few NFL players retweeted it, but he's like, pro football focus is for people who never played football. And I was like, all right, of course, an athlete hating on like an analyst, whatever. But then Pro Football Focus college rankings released their top 10 college football QBs. And this was via Anthony Tresh. Don't know who that is, but he's part of Pro Football Focus, and they published it. This list has C.J. Stroud, Heisman finalist from last year, C.J. Stroud, 4th. So you may think, okay, well, Bryce Young's back at Alabama. Fine, he's coming off a Heisman Trophy season, yeah. But who else is there? They put Caleb Williams, the former Oklahoma, now USC quarterback, and Spencer Rattler, the guy that was replaced by Caleb Williams at Oklahoma, is now a transfer at South Carolina. Those three are all ahead of C.J. Stroud. Who? And yes, you heard that correctly, specifically Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams, none of which were good enough to play a full season in one school and aren't at the same school even now. They are both ahead of C.J. Stroud. The only one, frankly, that should be is the person who won the Heisman Trophy, and I don't even necessarily buy that, because we're going to come around the NFL draft next year, and I think a whole lot more teams are going to have C.J. Stroud ahead of Bryce Young in their rankings. And teams are going to be fighting for both of them, don't get me wrong, but C.J. Stroud has everything you'd want out of a quarterback and the stats to prove it in his first year as a starter so far last year. So I guess we'll see. I love the bulletin board material. We were talking about it earlier. Like, inject this shit into my veins, because like literally makes no sense, but here we are. It gives material for the off season.
I was listening to you say this, and I'm gonna go ahead and personally not agree with this take, your take rather, and I'm gonna tell Pro Football Focus that they didn't play themselves. Wow. Because I would actually love for them to rank CJ a little bit lower. let me explain. I know the Texans are going to go ahead and win like 5 games for absolutely no reason this year. So I would prefer CJ Stroud to slide down the draft board. That's my future QB1. Yeah, he sucks, man. He's terrible. Why is he even in the top 10? Go Bucks, but man, he stinks.
Wow, he stinks. He stinks much.
Man. That's my future QB1, bro. Don't give him too much credit.
I like that strategy. I dig that.
Yeah, man.
I dig that.
I'm trying to manifest some good in the city of Houston's football team because they've had a rough few years.
I would love that.
We could use Stroud. use Stroud, man.
I would love that for you guys.
Yeah, man. Did I have you going for a little bit? Were you like, what the fuck is he talking about right now?
I was like, damn, this is taking Zag to a whole nother level. This is a Go Bucks podcast.
He's like, damn. He's like, damn, it'd be your own family, man.
Shit. All right. You got another one for me?
I do, actually. I want to give a You Played Yourself to 2 specific people. 2 wide receivers in the NFL that have switched teams and for some reason have taking on these new personas of wanting to be in the news. Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill, your time is here. Guys, you are on You Played Yourself.
Wow.
I cannot remember a time when Devontae Adams was ever in the news for saying anything.
No.
He doesn't seem like a guy who's ever said anything. That dude is a true baller. Tyreek Hill has only been in the news for horrible shit, like, stuff you don't want to see news about. So it's weird to see them get headlines, and it's because, they've moved on from their quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, respectively, 2 of the league's best quarterbacks. And I'm going to stick with Devontae Adams first. Quote, in recently, this is like, I guess at training camp or whatever it is, quote, anytime you change quarterbacks from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. And I was like, who's the Hall of Famer on Vegas? Because you surely can't be talking about Derek Carr, right? And, Adams has already walked that back. I guess someone had followed up a question and he's like, I knew you guys were going to say something. Like, no shit, man. You said Derek Carr was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Quote, what I meant to say was, even if you go Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, it's an adjustment. Even if it's a Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, there's going to be an adjustment. I wasn't saying Hall of Famer Aaron to Hall of Famer Derek. So no, I'm not retracting my statement at all. I mean, that is the most shitty walkback I've heard in years. That's terrible.
You're not retracting your statement, but you are retracting your statement.
Yeah. So, I actually have an idea for him. And, go ahead and play that clip.
Stop it. Get some help.
And it's like, why do guys who are clearly chasing contracts, no one goes from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr. And I know he got traded, but, no one goes from those 2 quarterbacks to improve their chances to win the Super Bowl. Why are they trying to pad their PR stats? Even I'm sure Derek Carr was at home asking his family what the fuck Adams was talking about. I mean, I know Derek Carr is a very self-aware person. There's no way he's like, yeah, that's me. That's me, future Hall of Famer Derek Carr. And then now let's move on to Tyreek. This is an older quote, but he's been in the news recently too. So his old quote was, quote, obviously I'm going to go with 15, Pat Mahomes, as the strongest arm. But as far as accuracy-wise, I'm going to go with Tua all day. He said this on his own podcast. And then new quote as of like today, Jets quarterback Zach Wilson is a dog, but I'd rather play with the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. And I'm like, who? You talking about Tua, man? And I'm like, the only thing accurate about Tua is his place on the PUP list. Like, what are we talking about, man? Like, I'm like, and this is a misleading compliment because it's basically clickbait because I did look up their completion percentages and they are pretty similar. Yeah. But Pat Mahomes and Tua's yards per average is the real stat. It's 8.1 to 6.3. So I know Tua loves him some checkdowns. So I hope Tyreek is ready to catch some like 6-yard slants in double coverage because that's what he's going to be getting. Like these 2 guys, like $140 million and $120 million contracts for them respectively. Just shut up, go pad your stats and get paid and stop bullshitting. Like, the fans, like, no one thinks you're serious about this.
Yeah.
Like, I'll let Stephen A. Smith take it away from here.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Perfect.
Like, come on, man. God.
Yeah. It really is like nobody asked you for these comparisons. And it's so clear you're overcompensating for these new quarterbacks. Let's just call it how it is. You got paid, and you wanted to be in this city. Maybe Devontae Adams loves Derek Carr. They went to college together. Great. But let's stop acting like you upgraded QBs when you went from legendary quarterbacks to such unproven guys. Like, you couldn't have gone to polar opposites. And you're going out of your way to talk this shit about, or talk these guys up. It's like, you're not fooling us, so why are you just saying stupid shit to us? Like, it's insulting to even dignify some of this shit because it's so clear that you're not telling the truth, but we gotta talk about it just because you open your stupid mouth. Anyway, all right, we've been talking about non-sports. You played yourselves, and you and I have talked a lot about this, but I wanted to give an update on one, and I got a few others for immediate retirement for You Played Yourself. So a couple episodes ago, we said that the Gritty was on the verge of needing retirement. I think you specifically said that we were an Ellen Gritty away from it needing to be done forever. Well, bad news.
Did she hit the Gritty?
No.
Did she hit the Gritty?
We got an even worse candidate. Dabo.
Oh, God.
I'll quit coaching if college players are paid. Sweeney did it. While he was wearing, like, a Easter sports jacket, best described as an Easter sports jacket. He did a Gritty. I don't know what event it was for, but it is officially dead. I'm saying DEAD dead, DED dead, however you want to spell it. I don't want to see any one of your family members doing the Gritty. I don't care how cute your kid is. Stop. Just stop it.
Rest in peace to the Gritty.
We tried to warn you. We gave you a couple weeks, and you didn't tell Dabo to just walk out to whatever speaking engagement he had. You couldn't tell him to stop, and now it's dead. He ruined it for everybody. He might have, we previously said, like, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase were grandfathered in. He might have even ruined it for them. Who knows? I'll let them be the judge of that, but I can't imagine that they did that originally thinking that Mac Jones and Dabo Sweeney were going to do the Gritty. So here we are. You got any for me?
I got a couple of, like, internet things that I want to kind of submit for retirement. I don't know if you've seen these Little Miss memes on Instagram and all this stuff.
How could you not?
These fucking memes suck, man. They're awful. I am self-proclaimed. I enjoy memes. You know, I am the meme king in most of my circles. You know, I love me a good meme. These are awful. I do not see any merit in them. I think they're horrible. And you know a meme is bad when big brands catch on, like, within 24 hours. Like, when you got LinkedIn posting a Little Miss meme, that meme is like DOA, baby. Like that, like, these guys are trying to have fun in the name of capitalism. Man, just fuck off and make the pizza and make the products and just leave us alone with the memes. This is all we got. Like, I'm a marketing manager, and I think these memes stink. Like, just save it. Like, these brands need to just shove it, man. Tell their admins to just cool it. And kind of like in the same vein, another recent meme was like the she/he is a 10, but, and like they would list out like bad traits or something. And I'm like, is this funny to people, man? Like, is this what is passing off as like viral trends these days? Like, what happened to these viral trends? Like, they used to be pretty good for the most part. And I saw a tweet. I don't know who tweeted it, but it was saying something like, whoever's in charge of these viral trends needs to step it up because these memes ain't it. These ain't it. And I couldn't agree more, man. Like, these are just awful.
Like, listen, I would say, like, I'm pretty much a hater. Like, let's face it. But these are objectively bad. And you're right. As soon as these big brands start hijacking the trend that quickly, you know it's bad news. It's like, it is the equivalent of Dabo Sweeney hitting the Gritty. Like, it's that same shit.
and it's some like no, not to be ageist or anything, but it's like some 50-year-old like mom or dad like up in the offices of LinkedIn being like telling their marketing manager, be like, hey man, you got to churn out a tweet about this cool trend going on, and that should be your sign that this meme stucks. Yeah, you don't have to do it. Just don't.
Okay, sticking in the same theme, my next candidate for retirement, and listen, I think people are going to disagree with me with this one again, but, true geniuses see things before other people, so what can I say?
What it do, baby?
Listen, I'm not on TikTok, but Instagram is basically becoming TikTok, and these fucking videos mashing up songs and remixing them are blasphemy. They'll take two great songs and try to mash them up, and it's like, how do you ruin a classic? By fucking messing with it. They're trying to put indie songs on the still DRE beat. Like, Dr. Dre did not make that hard-ass beat for you to have, like, a Lana Del Rey, like, wannabe sing over it. Like, he did not make that beat for that reason. Then they're putting Drake lyrics over Super Freak? Like, what are we doing? And then I saw one that was like, okay, they played Lost by Frank Ocean. It's one of my favorite Frank Ocean songs, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, they're playing it. And then they come in and it's like some Shawn Mendes light cutting in and singing the rest of the chorus or the hook. I'm like, you couldn't just let Frank Ocean play? What was the point of that? Oh, and then I think the one of the worst ones was like they took two really good songs. They put Little Baby lyrics over Seven Nation Army. Come the fuck on, man. Like, just stop. Like, just play a song or don't play a song. Like, let the original audio. But please stop butchering these classic songs. Please stop making me hate songs that I really love because y'all do mashups that don't need to be done. Stop ruining everything for us. Like, god damn it. Just let things be. Jeez. The Gritty, just let it be.
Gen Z gotta step their game up, man.
the fucking Gritty. It wasn't enough that these swagged out wide receivers were doing it. Like, everybody had to. You just had to do it. You had to do it, Dabo. Like, you don't even want your players paid, and you want to even attempt the Gritty. Like, get the fuck out of here. I can't stress enough. Just stop ruining things for us, guys. Stop it. Fucking stop. Just stop. Gosh. Okay. You number one podcast listeners, as always, I'm looking for more candidates. Clearly, I tend to find things on my own, and Rush, we both do. But if you have any nominations for this, hit us up. You know how to find us on social media. We want to hear what needs immediate retirement.
For sure.
All right. Let's move on to who you got and what you feeling. And last episode with myself, you, and Vish on it, we talked about where Kevin Durant was going to play next season. Still to be determined. We did the hypothetical if Kyrie Irving got vaccinated, how would the Brooklyn Villains have finished? This week, we got a few fun ones, but first I wanted to do like a little contender pretender,
all right,
MLB version, since we talked about those teams earlier.
Love it. So,
since we're AL folks, we'll start with NL and finish on the teams we want to talk about.
Yeah, that works for me.
First up, so Mets, Braves, basically the NL East teams. Contender, pretender, what you got?
As far as the NL goes, I'm going to go contender for both of them. They're both very good teams. Braves won the fucking World Series last year. The Mets arguably have been this good without two of their best pitchers. So I'm going to go ahead and say they're contenders.
Yeah.
Once DeGrom and Scherzer get in that rotation, those are basically two auto wins at that point. So
I agree. I do think these teams are going to cannibalize. And I'll tell you, like, these are contenders, but I think this is heading towards, spoiler alert, we'll just cover them next, but this next team, I think the NL is theirs to lose, essentially, and it pains me to say, but the Dodgers have a huge NL West lead. They have the best record in the National League, and they're close to the best record in baseball. So obviously, I think we're both going to say contender for the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're going to the World Series.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's pretty much like whatever teams they play, and then the other ones probably cannibalize. And then last but not least, the close NL Central race between the Brewers and Cardinals. I think I'm going like pretender for both. The one caveat for me is if the Cardinals do land Soto, like we talked about.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you on that. They're both pretenders for sure until they make a big move.
Yeah, but
that NL is both leagues are very top heavy. So.
Yep. Okay, over to the AL. We'll talk about the top heavy teams here first, and that's the AL Central logjam. The Twins, Guardians, and White Sox are all within 4 games of one another. This is as of our time recording this. So, any of those teams contenders to you?
I'm just gonna roll with the Twins as the contender, just because my man Carlos is there, and I know that when he turns it on, man. That team has a good leader built in. I know he hasn't been healthy all year, but that team is pretty nice. The White Sox are chokers. The Guardians are playing way above their means right now. They're just. I've been waiting for them to fall off, honestly, so I'm surprised. So maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they're a contender.
All right. What about? Obviously, we don't need to answer this, but the Astros are up big in the AL West. They are pretty close to the best record in baseball, thanks to their recent sweep of the Yankees and the Mariners, and a couple of losses by the Yankees. They're in striking distance with best record, but the important thing, first of all, is that they have a pretty comfortable lead in the AL West. I think, obviously, it's safe to say that they're contenders in both of our hearts. Contenders every year for us, baby. Bang, bang.
For sure.
And sound that you know what we want to hear. Okay. And then last but least. The Yankees are up big in the AL East. They do have the best record in baseball. That historic team that everybody wants to write about. We think in contenders, yes.
I would definitely say these. It's feeling like it's their AL to lose. Yeah. And if you asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have been like, it's going to be hard for the Astros to beat them. Now that I've seen them play for 7 games, I'm like, I don't know what it is, man. It just seems like the Astros pitchers have these guys' numbers. These guys just cannot come to Minute Maid and play. And we handle them pretty well in Yankee Stadium. So I'm going to call them contenders. The only one standing in their way is themselves. So barring like a Judge injury or a Stanton injury, it's their AL to lose this year.
I agree. But there is, Yankees always have pressure, but especially with how good their roster is, how well they're performing, and the duration of time in between their last World Series win, the pressure is there and it's mounting as we get closer to October. So that's going to be a factor, and I think it's going to be felt. We'll see what they do at the trade deadline. I'm assuming they're going to be one of the more active teams, though, because I think they feel, again, because of that pressure to win.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was any other teams that you think, in either the wild card mixes? I didn't put any of them on there, but some of them were covered in the logjam divisions. But any contender, pretender take about the Blue Jays, for example, in the AL?
I think the Blue Jays are a legit contender. I just think, again, they're in their own way most of the time. And I know Vladdy has not been playing well. So, if he turns it on, they just hung 28 up on the Red Sox the other night or something crazy.
Yeah, it was 28.
So their offense is starting to click. I think they're going to have a much better second half of their season. So I would put them up in the air. There's really 2 true contenders in the AL, so it's hard to say that they're contenders. But barring some upset, hey, if you catch a division rival in an ALDS that's anyone's series. Like, if the Blue Jays catch
100%.
the Yankees in the ALDS, that's anyone's series.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it is important to note that if you do get hot, I mean, the Braves are a perfect example of that. They were not a contender at this point in the season, and they got hot at the right time.
Sure.
So anything can happen. Okay. I want to do something a little fun here. So I want to get your take on the most fire alternate NFL helmet to come out recently. In case you missed it, you number one podcast listeners, the NFL finally got rid of their one helmet rule that they've been doing recently. Essentially, that rule said, and it was for good reason, for concussion protocol and safety. They basically made it that once you got one helmet approved, that was your game helmet, essentially. And it made it so that equipment managers couldn't, and teams couldn't do like alternate jerseys because they would have to essentially repaint every helmet, which is not possible. Most they could do is remove or add decals, which were kind of lame. But anyway, they got rid of that because obviously these equipment rooms have the capacity to handle multiple helmets and get multiple helmets approved, which was beyond me why they didn't get that. But anyway, with that came alternate helmets and the return of some throwback helmets. A lot of them have come out this week. Wanted to give a few of them, and if I missed any, feel free to tell me and pick it as your pick. But anyway, first up was the Bengals. They came up with they call it the White Tiger helmet. You may have remembered they had a white jersey, like an all white color rush, but they had to wear their orange helmets with it. But they came out the white helmet now. The Cowboys brought back their throwback white helmet with just like the plain star. You've seen it in years past, like on Thanksgiving games. I think that's the game they're wearing it. The Cardinals have a black helmet, and it's kind of wild. It's got like these red specks in it. Like it just looks like a black helmet, but there's some detail to it. Texans got a battle red helmet to go with that theme that they've had. The Panthers added a black helmet. I know I'm missing some, but who you got?
That's pretty easy for me. I think the Bengals run away with this one. That White Tiger helmet is just icy, man. It is clean.
Yeah, it's dope.
The runner-up, I'd probably give it to the Panthers, who already had a dope uniform set and dope colorways. That matte black helmet is nice.
Yep. Yeah, I think those are the two I was gonna go with too. I think that black helmet should be the Panther standard because black is one of their primary colors, unlike some others that use it at like their primary color. I think that should be their helmet. It looked very sweet. They didn't try to do too much. They didn't. The thing I liked about the Panthers helmet is that they didn't like do your generic white outline around the logo or silver outline to like almost make the logo stand out. They kept that black and blue theme to it. And like you said, they have some of the best colors, the best colorway, arguably in football. Yeah. But yeah, the White Tiger Bengals helmet, fire. It's like, don't do too much with it. They kept it simple, literally white and black. And the only bit of orange is that little block saying it's a Bengals helmet on the front of the helmet, which is beautiful. It's chef's kiss. It's going to look super sweet whenever they wear it. Okay. You wanted to add one to who you got since we're in these...
I did.
This kind of lull in sports. You had a fun one for us. What you got?
Yeah, I got something fun for you. All right. I saw this online. And I'm going to add a little caveat to it because it was just a general question. But I don't want you to have a cop-out answer and say none of them because that's the true answer to this question.
No.
But if I were to give you $500, who would you rather take a charge from on an NBA court? All right.
Okay.
Your four choices are Giannis, LeBron, Zion, or Joel Embiid, and why?
Holy shit. Okay. All right.
Giannis, LeBron, Zion, or Joel Embiid?
Okay, I think I'm gonna go Joel Embiid, and the reason is Giannis and LeBron are super lengthy, so they could catch you in a spot you don't want to be caught. Like, with one of their limbs, they'd just be sticking bone out a knee or elbow, and it hits you right in the family jewels, So
yeah, sure.
I'm gonna go Joel Embiid because I think like he moves a little slower, so I can like kind of brace for impact. The other two are so explosive, and Zion just flat out like arguably like one of the hardest dunkers we've ever seen. So I think I gotta go Joel Embiid, but you're right. There's like no great answer. I'm not saying I could take a charge from him. I'm just saying out of those four, I'm going Joel Embiid because in my estimation, he moves the slowest and least explosive.
All right, got it. It's pretty good. That's pretty good.
All right, what about you? You got an answer?
Yeah, my answer is Zion because he's going to probably sprain his ankle on the way, and he's not going to make it to me.
Great.
Oh, it's good. The Zion hate continues, man.
I had to bring back the Zion.
Double down, triple down.
I was like, we haven't talked much NBA, and I was like, I'm going to throw this in there. Yeah, I was like, I know last week I said some real salty things about Zion, and I thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what? I'm going to walk that back. That was unnecessarily harsh. But instead, I just went the complete opposite way when I saw this tweet. I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring this up if I'm on the podcast, and I'm just going to double down on the slander.
This is the true way of the number one podcast in your headphones. The true way of the bot family is, why would you walk it back? Let's double and triple it down.
Absolutely.
And just, it's gospel now. That's how we do it.
But you know what?
You already know the vibe.
If he has a good year, I'm just going to take full credit for it because I gave him the adversity needed to, motivate him to become the superstar that he was expected to become. So in advance, you're welcome, Zion.
Just like you did with Pena so far,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Love it. I love that addition to it, and love the hatred.
I wouldn't say it's hatred. I wouldn't say it's hatred for Zion.
It's like our version of hate tint, not hatred. Put it that way.
It's just a little salty seasoning, man. Like
that's all we're doing all the time anyway. Okay. Now let's move on to what you feeling. First up, what I'm feeling is Kid Cudi releasing a mastered version of his famous mixtape, his breakout mixtape, A Kid Named Cudi, on streaming platforms. Obviously not a hot take at all to say it's his best work ever. It felt so nostalgic listening to it, and it's still fire. And then personally, my wife and I got to take our son on his first flight and his first beach vacation thanks to our friends. So shout out Brandon, Sierra, and the Icons for having us in Fort Myers. That'll be something I'll never forget, and it was so cool getting to experience it through my son. So that's what I'm feeling. What about you, man?
That's pretty great, man. Yeah, I saw the pictures. He looked like he was having a blast in the sand. Did he get in the water at all?
Yeah, we took him in there. It's super shallow there too, and it felt safe for us to take him in there. He's been taking swim lessons and stuff too, like little baby swim lessons. So he's getting more into it. Like he went from like indifferent about water to splashing around. So it's pretty sweet. What you feeling?
That's awesome. All right, yeah. So I'll tell you what I'm not feeling first.
All right.
I am not feeling Deezus and Mero's split, man.
Fuck, yeah.
That shit hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I've been listening to these guys for 6 years? It feels like 7 years, maybe longer. I don't actually know when their podcast started, but I want to say I started listening to the podcast religiously when their Viceland show was out, and then obviously the Showtime show. But man, it bums me out that two homies just drifted apart and have creative differences and all that stuff. And man, it's one of the true relationships in Hollywood that you thought was going to last the test of time. So I'm not feeling that, but I did see Severance based off of y'all's recommendation on the last podcast. Great show. Would definitely recommend it. I saw The Bear as well. The Bear was phenomenal. Yeah. Super good TV. Quick watch. 1 season, 8 episodes. I had a birthday.
Yes, sir.
Birthday was nice. Birthdays are always nice, even though I'm becoming more washed by the day.
I feel that.
So, and then there's been a lot of good music lately too. I got a few albums to just recommend real quick. Steve Lacy's new album, Gemini Rights. He's worked with, Tyler, J. Cole, Kendrick, and he's from the internet, so he's a guitarist in the internet. His new album is great. Brent Faiyaz's new album is great. A band, Gleamer, has a new EP. It's great. And my favorite current album right now is by a guy, Barty Strange. And it's just like a kind of melting pot genre. And there's so much that album has to offer. And yeah, it's great. And I just saw Kendrick live like 2 nights ago, the Mr. Morale tour.
Yeah.
That tour was excellent.
I'm going to be seeing him in Columbus here too.
Yeah, if that tour comes to your city, number one podcast listeners, it's a little pricey, but it's definitely worth the cost of admission. And I know you brought up Kid Cudi. I just wanted to take this time to say, like, he walked off his stage at Rolling Loud because people were throwing shit at him. Yeah. Man, fuck those kids, bro. You talking to a guy who's been making music, since Kid Named Cudi came out, which was 2009 or something like that. Yep. And I think it was earlier than that. I think it was 2007.
Yeah.
And it's just the disrespect, man, that these young kids have to just like throw water bottles at a guy performing on stage. That, like, man, that's just like, I can't imagine being that disrespectful. It's
such lame behavior.
For sure.
I dig that.
So yeah, that's a long-winded what you feeling and what you not feeling.
I dig it. You told me about the Bear. I got to check that show out. And then I'm always, you're my music guru, so I've listened. I think out of the ones you listed, the only one I've heard is Brent Faiyaz, so I can confirm that album was fire, but the other ones I got to check out.
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, let's wrap up the episode with Too Much Sense. Let's play that sound, baby. All right, you number one podcast listeners, my Too Much Sense for this week is about being hypocritical to yourself. What do I mean by this? I am very guilty of this, but too often we show love, compassion, empathy, grace, forgiveness to other people in our life, but we don't afford those same qualities to ourselves. How often do we hear, I'm my own worst critic? And I get the sentiment, but I just want this to serve as your reminder to cut yourself some slack and hype yourself up more often. I know you're doing it for the friends and family in your life, but aren't you a hypocrite if you're telling them how great they are while doing the opposite to yourself? And that's my Too Much Sense for you to ponder and implement and at least catch yourself not doing it. If you're too hard on yourself, give yourself a break at least once this week. That's your daily reminder and a reminder for myself.
Great stuff.
Yes, sir. All right, you number one podcast listeners. I said I was going to get more consistent. This time I didn't need motivation to record again. I initiated it, so...
You did, yeah.
We're getting back in the swing of things. You number one podcast listeners deserve it. Man of my word, it took me a little longer, but... had to deliver for you because you all deserve it. Don't ever play yourselves. Number one podcast in your headphones. We here. Brand new edition. You know what to do. Share it with a friend, someone who hasn't heard it before. Remind a friend we're still here. Number one podcast in their headphones. They might have misplaced them, but tell them to find them again. We'll be back for another edition. But as promised, I hope you'll stay with me while I play a snippet of our sponsor for this episode, Mark Drew. I wanted to play you one of my favorite songs from his project, Undrafted, available on all streaming platforms, remember. This one's called I Don't Got the Time, so enjoy and go check it out wherever you listen to your music. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace.
About the end game, got nicer with the beats while I was sharpening my pen game. This shit is insane. I lost a lot of friends and they would tell me that I've been changed. My marathon is moving, gotta get that through your membrane. Look, I'm just in a different state of mind. I ain't with it if it's cutting into my creative time. Tryna put myself in a position where I get paid to rhyme. Boy, I get that shit that you do not wanna be late to find. Hold up, this shit come with a price. They gon' wanna sabotage me, I won't crumble them nice. I be gunning for that TD while you fumble it twice. And I've been taking all the hits, I'm getting them to the ice, man. Ain't nothing guaranteed, so I don't never trust a promise. They try their best to hold me back by never being honest. When I'm on the throne, already know they ain't gonna be the finest. My name will be in their mouth more than in your I don't got the time, staring at a hill I gotta climb. Trying to do it while I'm in my prime, going on my mind. Looking up and begging for a sign.